when I first heard about the meeting today, the non-official title I was given was trying not to kill rural America. What can we do to, save that part of our country?
Well, one, I think that we can stop implementing policies in Little Rock and, and also D.C. that help in that killing. And so by encouraging economic growth, by maybe tax incentives for businesses to come back into the area, or and show what a great education that you can get in a rural school. I went to a rural school, and so I feel like, and many Arkansans go to rural schools, so I think that you can get just as quality education, if not a better education, because of the teacher to student ratio. And as long as your school can perform academically, it does everything financially, I think that we should let positive schools be in existence.
Yeah, the success of the school here, the Golden Apple in 2004, I mean, it's one of the points of pride because they have the 2004 Golden Apple Award winner on the welcome to Weiner sign.
Right.
Is the biggest part of trying to save the rural parts of America the school district itself? I mean, so many people thrive on that.
I think so too. I mean, you see with small schools, one that comes to my mind is Gillette in South Arkansas, and you see that they lost their school.
I have no idea what to say.
We would remind everybody what it means to be from a small community. So if you will, please stand as Brother Bill Hogue leads us in prayer and remain standing while the Weiner Girl Scouts and Cub Scouts.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Along with Rural Community Alliance, for partnering together to spark new ideas to preserve and grow our communities. Always remember, having small town values doesn't mean we have small town mentalities. It means we care deeper, work harder, and are the backbone of our nation. I would also like to thank Frankie Gillum from ASU Delta Center for coming, and Andrea Allen, who is with our Congressman Rick Crawford's office.
I'm here today to basically listen, as it says. We met in Leslie, Arkansas. How long ago was that? About 2 months ago?
About 2.
I tell you what, time flies by. But it's about 2 months ago. And Leslie, Arkansas is a town much like Weiner, and much like many towns across Arkansas, who once had a vibrant population, very good school, but for some reason people move away, businesses leave because of things outside of the control, and the school, even though it's financially viable and academically viable, takes a hit. And one thing I said while campaigning, and especially now traveling across the state, is when you lose your school, you lose your identity of the town. And I grew up in a small town. In fact, this church, my dad was a Baptist minister, and I always said I don't want a job to where I have to wear a suit and a tie. And so here I am in a church with a suit and a tie on. Your school district, one, is academically, your children are learning. And as I know, there's a lot of people in the state, and they get a lot of their information either from D.C. or maybe from other states, or, this is what works well for us. Well, you can't cookie cutter something. And you have to look, or you should look, at each individual case individually. And this community, one, you can tell by the people who are out here at 2 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. One, you care about your community, you care about your school. Your school, your kids are they have good grades, and it's not in financial distress. And so I definitely think that, one, you have the ear of the legislators, and you have the ear of the state. And you may think we're just a small community and no one talks about us. No one. Really, I understand living in a small community that you might feel that way, but honestly, people are using y'all as an example all across the state to, one, as an example of a small community can survive, and two, that if you want something, you're going to have to fight for it. And so
to protect our rural post offices, and there's also a companion bill in the Senate that Senator Bozeman has done that would designate a certain number of miles between post offices. Reason being, I mean, in the first district, we have 100 post offices on the list to be closed, which is 10 times more than the other districts, not just in Arkansas, but around the country. And so rural America is being unfairly targeted on the post office closures. And the fact is, you save more money closing a larger one than you would a smaller one. And so his bill is trying to get the post office to take a look at this and just be more fair and look at this as not urban versus rural, with rural taking the brunt of it.
Why does
Logic in the way the state has done this school thing. They got a number. You got to have a number, a certain number, to be a viable school district. Okay, and why? To save money, because they don't have enough money for a small school, I guess. Okay, so they take and consolidate these small school districts, and then they take the money that they save from that and they go over to some big school and build a bigger school, 10, 20, 30 million dollars. How is that saving money?
Well,
And then you get these big schools and they're overcrowded classrooms and kids don't get the quality education they would. My logic would be, if we want better education or, save money, don't build them big schools. Bust them big schools up, make little schools.
And the bill about saying that if the three categories, the enrollment, the financial stability, and the educational performance, if the only thing lacking in that was the one about the enrollment, the 350, then this bill, if it had passed, would forbid those schools from being forced into consolidation. Now, if I go back this time, I'm going to run it again. Now, it was 50 votes that we got in favor. All I needed was 51. And we had at least 8 people in that meeting that he called out right specifically before that bill came to a vote that would have passed that bill.
I think we would have the support in the Senate
Yeah,
also.
I think so too.
you go to your state reps, you go to your state senators, you're like, listen, we put you there. You're their bosses. You're my boss. They're there to represent you. And so when they don't, that's when they need to go, regardless of the party. You know what? Do it. And keep blowing up, because they make a difference. Because I hear them.
And if I
got
don't-
200 emails today from so-and-so group, and it may be over some issue that's really not even related to the state of Arkansas, but they're organized. And that's a big deal for this. You've got to be organized. You are organizing on your school.
And we saw a lot of that in the session this time too. You won't imagine how much weight that carries. Some people might look on it as a nuisance, but when you keep hitting them and hitting them and hitting them, after a while they're going to start listening. I promise you that.
They are.
We have to hold them all accountable because there was a comment that had been said, and I know when you don't get the response or a response at all, call and leave a message for them. There's a line for the House and the Senate. We used it.